What's up, guys? Welcome to episode 92 of the Missed Call Podcast. This is Cubwood here with Sauce Sartori and special guest, DePaul guard, Deja Church. Deja, how are you?
I'm doing good. How are you guys?
Living the dream in quarantine, honestly. That's about the extent of it. I've been locked up. I've been watching the show Locked Up, and I am locked up inside of my own house, and it's not great. But we're here with you, which makes it better, and we're very excited. So this is part of our Female Athletes Month, Women Athletes Month, as we disclosed to you before the interview. But this is week 4, Cub, right? Week 3. We're still in week 3. That's right. Yeah. I got messed up because Deja, what we've been doing is normally we have a system where we do new shows where we talk about what's going on in sports, etc. But there's been none of that. So we've been doubling up on interviews. So I lost complete track of what week we're in. But we're in week 3. We've got Deja Church with us, and we're very excited. So to start off, DePaul guard, you guys won the Big East this year.
Yes.
And then here we are. We're in quarantine. Talk about the letdown after that. Like what's kind of going on in the locker room? What's going on with you when that happens?
So after our Big East championship game when we played Marquette, obviously everyone was so excited. We just won, and we had no idea that all of this was about to happen. So, I mean, we were still celebrating our victory, but about 2 days later is when all of the information started to come in about possibly canceling, other conference canceling their tournaments, and then it was in the air that the NCAA tournament would get canceled. And honestly, we just really couldn't believe it. We were like, no, there's no way. Right. And then our coaches, our coach Doug Bruno, who's a legend, he's like, guys, they might cancel it. And we like, man, if he says it, then it might really happen. So then so 2 days later after our game, we had practice. No, on the third day, we had practice, and we didn't even dress. Our coach just told us to meet in the conference room, and he told us that they ended up canceling the NCAA tournament, and pretty much our season was over. Everybody was in shock. I mean, we heard the news everywhere on social media. We were just really devastated because this year we did so good, and we were in position to get a home seed, and it was just a real special moment for us because we were on the road to being one of the best teams at DePaul. So with that, I mean, everyone was pretty sad. I feel really bad for our seniors, and it's just very devastating, but everyone in the country is going through it. So
how did the seniors take it?
Pretty much everybody took it the same way. Everybody was pretty much sad. The seniors took it the hardest. They really couldn't believe it. Everybody kind of had the same feedback on it. We're like, yeah, there's really nothing you can do to make us feel better about this. We're going to be mad about this the rest of our lives. Right. It just is what it is. And we had a team meeting, but somebody came together and they said, just look at the positive side. We end up finishing our last game on a winning the Big East tournament, and a lot of teams in the country didn't even get to play the conference tournament. So we kind of just flipped it to see it more positively.
And it's so weird because no one can relate to how you felt because this has never happened.
Yeah. I don't even know how I feel. I mean, some days I don't believe it. We really not playing in the tournament? I don't know. Some days I wake up okay, maybe they're going to be okay, April Fools. Or they're going to say something and we're going to be back playing. But by now, it's dead. So we're prepared for next year. So that's all we can do.
And it's kind of crazy because we all have this shared experience of not having the tournament. Even us as fans, we don't have the tournament. But everybody's experience with it is unique. But we all have a shared component with it, and that we're not getting the tournament, whether to play in it or to watch it. But I think it's interesting because we've asked this question to everybody that's been on, just how unique everybody's experience has been.
Yeah, I definitely agree.
So What have you been doing in the meantime to stay sane? I know you watched the how to eat crawfish tutorial the other day.
Well, to keep myself going, I've been working out every day. Early on in quarantine, I was able to get in the gym, but they shut us down. So I've just been doing like a lot of cardio, ab work, like body weight stuff. Other than that, a lot of Netflix, a lot of sleeping, a lot of eating.
Yeah.
That's it.
Have you watched Tiger King yet?
Yeah, I did. But I had to cut it off. Like once it started getting a little too crazy, where they start saying that joke, like I didn't finish the season, so I don't know. Did she die?
No. She didn't die.
Oh.
No, she's still kicking it.
Okay, see, I stopped watching it when they talking about he was about to murder her, and it was like reality TV at the zoo. I couldn't do it.
You gotta finish it. You gotta finish it.
I don't know. It's too crazy for me.
You didn't know you needed that documentary until you finished it. I've watched it twice.
All right, I'm gonna watch it.
Yeah, I watched it twice.
That's a little bit much for me. I really enjoyed it, and I consumed it in 2 sittings. It was crazy stuff, man. I mean, I think all the takes to be had on it are already out there, but it was definitely crazy stuff. Now, I want to talk about this was your first year at DePaul, and you transferred in from Michigan. I'm curious. You're from Michigan. I wanted to mention that as well. But I'm curious, what's it been like going from a major university like Michigan, where everybody's familiar with the program, to then coming to DePaul, which is a great program for women's basketball, but it's a little bit lesser known of a school?
Yeah. It was an adjustment because obviously Michigan has just so much clout to their name. You know, at Michigan, we pretty much we're celebrities on campus. We can honestly get whatever we want. Our Jordan gear was amazing.
Right.
I really do miss the football games. I tell Coach Bruno that a lot, and he knows that. But coming to DePaul, I think it was just a little different for me. You know, I transferred, and I kind of was just really focused and just trying to just focus on my goals. So I really wasn't too busy about too active with my social life or anything. But I mean, as far as the programs are both of the programs are amazing. Both great coaches, and Coach Bruno, just the way he runs his program is just like every day I'm in awe. I mean, I learn stuff every day. So it's not like a drop off or anything, because I feel like I'm gaining so much here that I didn't get the opportunity to gain at Michigan. So I think the only difference really is the football games and tailgating.
Now, what is that experience like going to the Big House? That's the biggest football stadium in America. What is that experience like?
It's pretty cool. I mean, honestly,
that's pretty cool.
No,
that's whatever.
One time. I would suggest it's not all that.
No, my thing is I always leave after the first quarter, halftime, because I get tired. Well, we sit in the student section. The student section stands up the whole time, and I'm not standing up the whole time, so I'm going. But I go hard in the first quarter, man. I be going hard. I used to get thrown up in the air when we score touchdowns. I used to go in.
For the first way to go.
Yeah, then my legs get tired. I gotta go.
So I read that one of the main reasons that you transferred is that you were looking for a different style of basketball, more up-tempo, free style of basketball, maybe a little bit more three-pointers involved. Is DePaul everything that you were looking for?
Definitely. Everything I've been looking for is not much thinking to the game. Our coach, he just lets us play, and that's the biggest thing. I just go out and pretty much do whatever I want on the court, and my coach supports it.
So Doug Bruno is known as being an all-time great. He's a legend. Do you feel like you're being coached by a legend when he's like when you're at practice and stuff?
That's a good question.
Do you like feel like I'm being coached by an all-time great?
When I first got here, that's how I felt. And then Coach Bruno is so humble. Like, he doesn't talk about himself. He just like thinks he's just like some average guy, just the way he carries himself. And then like it kind of rubs off on us. He's like, okay, like he's just my coach. But then when like you see other big time coaches like reach out to him, call him, or after a game just respect him so much, you're like, dang, my coach really like that.
Just an average guy at Kelly's.
Yep.
Was he ever hard to understand?
He definitely has an interesting voice.
It's iconic.
Yeah, definitely.
He's iconic.
Definitely has an interesting voice. No, he's not hard to understand. I mean, he's like I hope he doesn't see this, but he's like a grandpa. So like, you know how like if your grandpa like can't like understand you like that.
Doug, if you hear this, you can come on anytime to rebuttal whatever. So, Deja, go ahead, Sauce.
No, it's all you.
Oh, Deja, when you tweeted out that you're transferring and not coming back to Michigan, did you get any like, what's the word I'm looking for? You get any hate in
the mentions? Like,
yeah,
I would imagine that would happen.
Yeah, so not people.
Troll. Did you get trolled? That's what I wanted.
Yeah, people didn't, directly at me because they would never do that. But they definitely subtweeted and they definitely were in my DMs. And I know a few people. I know like a few people in my because like I tweeted it out and I'm like I don't remember, it was a year ago, but I think I said like it's in God's hands or something, and people like how is this in God's hand? You upped and left, you left our program. I'm like, look, relax, calm down. But definitely a lot of people were just like in my DMs just asking questions like why I transferred. A lot of people hating, and then it was a lot of positive people too. But I mean, I don't really pay attention to any of it, honestly.
No, we just asked that because, as you know, the comment section on Instagram, Twitter, about anything about a woman athlete, it's all negative stuff. So we were just curious about who was coming at you.
Somebody definitely told me I should go back to the kitchen.
We figured that. Because that's such an original comment. Like, who would have thought to say something like that?
I know, like crazy.
Me? No, I have a dumb brain. I could have never thought of something that not funny.
So one of the things that Cub always tells me about, he's like, listen, women's sports drive DePaul. The softball team, the basketball team, women's sports drive DePaul. Is it kind of odd? Again, this is one of those questions I'm asking you to compare your experience at Michigan to DePaul, but is it kind of odd going from games at Michigan where there's huge fan turnout to then going to DePaul where the fan turnout isn't as great? That's just something I hear from Cub.
Okay, so it's a little different for women's basketball. So the fan turnout in Michigan, it was still more than DePaul, but it wasn't that much. Like, yeah. So once I got like to DePaul, it wasn't that big of an adjustment because how women's basketball is. But I mean, I think one thing that kind of like made up for it was that some of our games we play on campus at Philip McGrath. Is that what it's called?
McGrath Phillips Arena.
So most of our games we play there, and it's really the gym. It's like honestly, it kind of looks like a high school gym, but like when you really fill it up and pack it up, it's like a cool experience that you don't even get at Michigan, because at Michigan you have a huge arena and you're like not even filling like 1/4 of it. So at DePaul, you have a packed house, even though the gym is smaller, but it's a better playing environment.
Gotcha.
And you can feel it too, because like the Marquette games are always packed at McGrath Arena. That's the name of it. I looked it up earlier, so don't worry. I was wrong too.
He really had to work on it too. We were on a FaceTime, and he was like, McGrath Phillips.
Yeah, you see me. I didn't even know.
But yeah, you could definitely feel it more because you guys played where the men played, didn't you, at Michigan?
Yeah.
So it was more spread out. When you're at McGrath Phillips Arena, it's more cramped. You can feel everyone there.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a great experience. People should really go more. Support fall women athletes.
That's facts. That is factual. I was just going to add, so I go to a small school in Naperville. I'm not sure if you're familiar with North Central at all, but that's where I go to school. And the men and women play in the same arena. And it's an older school. It's an older arena, and it's a lot more intimate, similar to what I assume you play at McGrath Phillips Arena. And it's so cool when you fill up a smaller arena like that, and it's a really intimate setting, and you're right on top of the players. It's so cool when that happens.
Yeah, I agree.
Covered.
So speaking of McGrath Phillips Arena,
that's got to be the last time that we mention McGrath Phillips. That's the last time. It's the last time.
So you guys had the women's national basketball team at your facility over the NBA All-Star break. What was that like watching them practice? Because I know you were there.
Yeah, I was there. Yeah, I was there. It was definitely cool watching them practice. I mean, just their work ethic and the way they approach like the game is definitely different from like us and like college and stuff. And also another like humbling experience and like shocker when I was like watching them. So Bruno came into the gym and like literally like all the players were like bowing down to him, and they're like, and I'm like, oh my gosh, my coach is really like that, like crazy.
He's got that.
Yeah.
So we're big Kelsey Plum guys. Did you get to talk to her?
No, I didn't talk to Kelsey Plum. Look, here's the thing. We so they practiced right before our game. So I couldn't even stay to the end of practice because I had to get ready for our game. So the only person I talked to was Sue Bird, and she was very cool. I got a picture with her.
I walked past her.
You did?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I love her.
Didn't say a word.
That's all he did. He walked right past her.
Why didn't you say anything?
My brain farted, and I'm like, I know who that is. I checked the roster. I'm like, it's Sue Bird. I didn't say it's Sue Bird.
She's so nice.
Yeah, she seems like the nicest person ever.
She is.
So you did. I guess I didn't listen closely enough. You did or you did not get an opportunity to watch them practice?
No, I watched most of the. I think the practice was like an hour and a half. I only stayed an hour.
Okay. Now, I don't know. Like we asked what that's like, but like, did you pick up anything? Or what are you watching specifically when that happens? Or are you just in shock and awe? You're like, oh my God, they're here in front of me.
Well, they definitely, everything they do, they work at game speed. So a lot of like the women's game, like if you walk into a women's practice, a lot of programs, they don't really practice at game speed every possession. And what I learned watching the USA team, every possession they were going hard. There were definitely I learned just from like their attitudes. A few girls had an off day. They were missing some shots and like they didn't get down on themselves. They just kept their head up, kept shooting. Just their approach to the game was just different, and I just kind of picked up a few things like that.
That's awesome.
That is interesting. That is very interesting. So, Cub, is it time for the CS movement question?
You better believe it is.
Yeah. So, Deja, we are sponsored by the CS Movement, which is an organization that helps run camps and programs for young girls who want to grow up and possibly play professional sports, right? It's an opportunity for them to see that there are other women in the field that they would like to be professional in, and give them sight of essentially the things that they can do. So the CS Movement question, I'm very excited to talk about this with you. So you are a Black woman, and that alone, you face certain societal pressures on a daily basis. And now you add sports on top of that, where there are different pressures and different stigmas involved with women being in sports. I'm curious how you, being a Black woman in sports, has affected your playing career? Or has there been any sort of discrimination that you have faced that maybe somebody of a different skin color, a white teammate, whoever, might have had a different experience?
Yeah, definitely. So first, just, when you're in high school and you're looking to go to school, the first thing is you realize that there's not a lot of African Americans, and definitely not a lot of Black female African Americans as head coaches. So even just to start off there, that's an area where like the NCAA needs to get better at. I'm not sure how many, but I think it's under 10 how many programs have Black female head coaches.
Okay.
And honestly, to me, that would be nice to be coached by someone who looks just like me, who has experienced what I've been through, who really understands. And once you get to that next level, there's not much. I'm gonna speak from my experience. I haven't experienced as much discrimination as far as being Black, but what you can notice is that a lot of coaches can't relate to you on certain situations. Not even like if you experience discrimination in basketball, but like out of basketball, if you want to bring something up, they just don't understand. And really, truthfully, they can only sympathize with you instead rather than empathizing with you. And that's something that you got to get through your head quick. So usually when I got to Michigan, I was lucky. I was blessed enough to have 2 African American coaches on our staff. One was a female, one was a male. And I was close to all of my coaches, but those 2 I really connected with, and I had a great relationship with. And here at DePaul is different because I have a male head coach now, and he has been around for decades playing the game, and he understands. Like he can sympathize with us about discrimination, and
right.
He talks a lot about race and sexuality and stuff like that. And he tries to build it. He tries to teach people who teach my teammates who come in, because obviously we have girls from different areas around the country, and there may be girls who went to school and the only people in their school is people who look like them. So they might come to college not with the experience of being around somebody who's a different race. And I think Coach Bruno does a really great job of just teaching us and just opening up a floor where everybody just feels welcome. And you don't really feel, it's not really no discrimination or anything like that. I have dealt with more discrimination as far as being female rather than my race, which I'm thankful for, but still there's so much work to be done with that area as well.
Thank you for sharing that, because I believe that we were discussing how to word this question, except we didn't want to come off ignorant or insulting. No. But because it's such an important topic to bring awareness towards and et cetera, because at DePaul, you had to take your sophomore seminar. I took race and ethnicity, and that's probably my favorite class I've ever taken, to learn about other people's experiences in life, different races, what they deal with day to day. And the best part about it was everyone in that class was a different race or from a different culture, and it was just really eye-opening. And like what you just said was very eye-opening as well. And I feel like a lot of people need to know about stuff like this. That's why we ask, and that's why we're doing this Women Athletes Month, because no one gives you the platform that you deserve so you can say stuff like this. So that's why. So thank you so much for sharing that.
Yeah, no, thank you guys.
Well, and even when you sit down and talk about it, there are certain things that are unearthed. Like when you say that a head coach might not be able to empathize with you, only sympathize. Like that's something that I didn't think about, and now yeah, exactly, because you said it. Now I think about it, and it kind of brings up the question in my head: do you find like sometimes when you're talking to a coach, they try to change up who they are and speak in a different way? Like you know what I'm talking about? Like they try to sound cool or whatever. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely dealt with that a lot during my recruiting process, and I just personally, I do a good job on picking that stuff up and reading that. So, I mean, obviously, I didn't even go to those schools because, like, you just know when something's not genuine. You would rather somebody be their true, authentic self than try to be cool to fit in. Like, I don't like that.
I was literally just gonna ask if you sniffed it out, and you just answered it. So there goes my question. Because I'm curious, because like there's so many coaches that have to BS you in these like meetings and like calls to recruit you, and I'm glad you noticed the BS, because some people don't notice that it works out terribly.
Yeah, definitely.
Sauce, you want to get into the silly questions that we have?
Yeah, well, I do want to thank you again, Deja, for sharing your experience. That's part of the whole month, and we appreciate you being so open with us. That's huge. Now, I know you are from Michigan. I don't know how close Southfield is to Detroit, but I'm curious. You've spent time in Michigan. You've now spent time in Chicago. Is it Detroit-style pizza or Chicago-style pizza?
We're not going to get mad if you say something wrong.
You can say whatever you'd like.
Well, definitely Detroit. I don't like Chicago-style pizza.
Oh, no.
I don't like the deep dish. I'm not a fan. It's too much sauce. I don't like it.
Sauce. Too much sauce.
Oh.
So is Little Caesars overrated or underrated?
Little Caesars is definitely underrated.
For real?
It's underrated because people think, oh, I'm not about to order no $5 pizza. Then you get the $5 pizza and it's like, man, it's so good. But here's the thing. I've had Little Caesars. There's Little Caesars around the corner from my house, like 3 minutes. And I had Little Caesars in Chicago. And it ain't the same. It ain't the same. It's not the same.
So it's different. Harold
definitely.
Spot.
Say that one more time, Cub.
Wait, say
it's like having Harold's at a different spot. They all taste different.
Yeah, that's exactly how it is. I can't describe it, but the one around the corner from my house, they do something different over there.
They got that special sauce.
Could you explain what it? I mean, we dive deep into food conversations with our guests. So could you explain what's different? Is it the sauce? Is it the crust? What's going on?
Crust.
So here's the thing. When I get my pizza from Little Caesars, you gotta get the butter and parm. You gotta tell them I want butter and parm all over. Okay? So different places do it differently. And the place around the corner, they've been doing it right for like the past 10 years. And that's what I'm used to. So the place in Chicago, they're not doing it right. They don't know what I like because they never seen me or met me before. And it's like it's not right.
So what's your
favorite? They don't know who they're talking to. I like it. I love it. Go ahead, Cub. I'm sorry.
So what's your favorite place to eat in Chicago?
Or do you have one?
It can't be the stew, Deja. We all know it's raw.
I'm very universal, but have you guys heard of Low Country? It's this seafood place. Don't ask me where. I don't know where it's at. There's seafood one
in Chicago?
Yeah, it's one. Look, I don't know locations, but there's 2 of them. But so fire. It's next level. They put the seafood in the bag, kind of like the crawfish I had, but the sauce, again, the sauce is different.
The sauce makes everything. A bad sauce can ruin a dish. A good sauce can make or break a meal.
Deja, have you had Chicago pizza and oven grinders? Have you tried that yet?
No, I don't know what that is.
Oh, okay. Let me explain. So essentially, they take this little bowl, right, and they fill it up with all the. You want pepperoni in there? Boom. You want sausage in there? Boom. You know what I mean? They fill it up with all the pizza fixings, if you will, and on top is a domed. It's like an upside down pizza. It's like an upside down pizza. On the top is like a dome of bread that is your crust, and then when they give it to you, they flip it over. Now the crust is on the bottom, and they kind of. They just pull the cup out, and now you've got pizza basically in a bowl. It's different. It's good. You should try it.
Yeah.
It's actually cheap.
I don't think I sold her.
I don't think you did either, but I'm down to try. I will try it though.
You got to try everything once.
You're right.
Well, you got to try most things once.
And it's a mile campus.
It is?
It's on Clark.
I didn't know that. I don't get out that much either.
So you eat at the stew all the time?
Nah, I overeat a lot.
So have you ever eaten anything raw at the student center?
Raw.
They have a lot of raw incidents.
Chicken sandwich. The chicken sandwich. Yep.
No, I don't go to
fix it.
I don't go to DePaul, but we have a very similar issue with our dining hall, I guess, at North Central. And you walk in, and the meal line that they have prepared for you, you walk down it, and almost instantly you can go, nope. Very quickly, You're like, all right, where are the burgers at? And then you look at the burgers, and you could bounce them off the floor, and they'd come right back to you. I don't.
No, I can agree. And then all of a sudden they want to serve pasta every single day at the stew. Like, it's the same food every day. I hit it.
It's not good food.
Nah, it's not.
I will say that they have ice cream every day, and so even if I don't eat, I at least have an ice cream cone.
Because that's healthy.
Because that's how. Well, yeah, it's not healthy, but here we are. Cub, you had a question about backpacks.
Deja, I gotta ask.
Mm-hmm.
Does that backpack give you confidence?
No. No. Honestly, I try not to wear it because it hurts my back. I come to class with a pencil in my coat pocket, and then I ask for somebody else for paper.
Yeah, you did ask me a few times. Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
But like, there's got to be a lot of athletes at DePaul that wear that backpack and their head just.
Yeah, probably so, but definitely not me. I'm no.
Not Deja Church. Humble, wholesome, real. Deja Church.
Yes.
Put that on a business card, man. What the?
He be coming up with taglines.
That was pretty. Sash, you got anything else?
I don't. Deja, I was going to ask if you have anything going on that you would like to plug, or if you want to plug your social media, whatever you want to do at this time, this is the time.
I don't have anything going on, but if you guys want to follow me on Instagram and Twitter, my name is Deja Church. It's right there, Deja Church XO. So give me a follow. I'm very nice. I will follow back. Yeah.
Well,
there we go.
Follow.
Mm-hmm.
You can watch her eat crawfish on Instagram Live.
Yes.
Deja, again, we want to thank you for coming on the podcast and being so open with us. Thank you for taking time out of your day to talk to a couple losers like us. We appreciate it more than you could know.
Thank you. Thank you guys for having me.
No problem. Thanks again.
All righty. Bye.
She's gone.
We're still live. Hey, how's it going? Welcome to the